go ahead and introduce yourself. I've been working with Heart of Ida has been working with Gretchen since I think 2010.
Okay.
With the same mission, older adult independence, and things kind of we've been thinking about digital inclusion, the digital divide for forever, but the pandemic kind of brought things to the forefront.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Okay. You know how you all are chief of something or other, chief of innovation, chief of creativity? Well, I'm chief of bullshit. And you can quote me on that. I'm just saying, I just want to get it out there. Even Jeff laughed on that one. He's pretty clear. No, I'm just kidding you, Jeff. So
I
it's
laughed
been
because you told me I could quote you, and then I wrote it down exactly.
okay, good. So I got your attention. So working with Dina and Heart of Ida has just been a gift for me. We have been together on a variety of what I would call opportunities here in Long Beach. We define our area as Long Beach. It's 50 square miles, 500,000 people. It's just sort of the right size to do something. We have all the issues, except for rural issues, but we have all the other issues that any other community might have. My background is I have a doctor of physical therapy and I have a master's in public health. My career has been in developing program models that look at functional outcomes. And my doctoral work is it's been a long time, but I bring it to the fore every day to reduce or prevent unnecessary functional decline. And so the Heart of Ida's mission and my background and point of view match. And one from the community benefit organization, the other is from more of a clinical public health, and we bring that together. We've learned a lot. We've sort of broadened our view along the way. And in broadening it, we've deepened our understanding of what independence means, what a thriving older adult life may mean, about what being disadvantaged means. So when we realized that digital inclusion was a requirement to be a small c citizen in today's society, we knew that large portions of the community that we serve, which are essentially the low income or no income older adult community in our city, that there was just a lot of barriers. And we know, and Patty and Jeff have acquired greater day-to-day knowledge of, it's not simply providing the technology or the hotspot. And it's not even doing digital literacy training. It is not that at all. So we start from a different point, and that's sort of the phase we're in right now, is what did it take to get to a point where we can actually implement something that we thought might work, so we can evaluate whether in fact it works. We're in the midst of that. I would say finally that it's been great to know you. It's the relationship, like much of what we do, is organic. Someone introduces us, we get connected, we start to talk the same language, we laugh at each other's jokes, we think there might be something we can meet on again, we start meeting on it. So it doesn't come from a formal business perspective. We'd never get anything done in Long Beach. I mean, change my quote here, Dina, is if we waited, one, for permission, or two, for formality. Dina is known for getting out there and just doing it, and then after a while, people recognize it. So when food is required, and I don't mean just little things, I mean wholesale things, social inclusion, they just do it. And then a year or two later, people catch on, oh, here's a group that does it, doesn't ask for permission, goes over the barriers of language, of some of our neighborhoods that we go in are pathetically neglected. And so some people in the privileged world would say scary. We don't see anything as scary.
Mhm.
What we know is scary is that if we leave people out, that's what's really, really, really
Sure.
scary.
Sure.
So that's what Heart of Ida is. And I hope that, and we're so appreciative of the Chromebooks because that let us move along. But I hope that we can appreciate the short term and the long term and make sure that we're respectful of each other's intention to be inclusive first
Mhm.
and use digital and technology second. That's just a secondary piece of it. It's a way for people to be included, and we will need long-standing, the community that Dina has created are in for the long haul. We still base much of what we do on telephonic messaging, but we do it.
Uh-huh.
And it's resilient and it grows. So we never want to drop one technology for another.
Got
we
it.
want to maintain that. So
Got it.
that's from the chief operating bullshitter of, you know.
Okay,
Well,
and so then are you part of Heart of Ida, Gretchen, or?
well, it's whatever Dina wants to say. She
Uh-huh.
can choose, but I volunteer.
Okay.
We
Uh,
call
I
her our
work as-
advisor.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm an advisor. Yeah.
Okay, got it. But yeah, so you're a volunteer. Okay. So can you guys explain to me? So I get the digital inclusion at a high level and all, no question. But what are your specific goals of that? Right? Is it, you want people to, right? What do you functionally want to achieve? Like you mentioned the Chromebooks. So what are the goals that somebody, I get it, you get the Chromebooks in these people's hands, but what is it that you hope for them to do, besides just be able to connect to the internet and have a keyboard in front of them?
Okay, I'll keep talking. Dina's in knee deep, shoulder deep in the everyday. Having an inclusive older adult community is a 24/7 idea. It's not a block. Not all older adults are the same. Not all have the same needs. It's not just a resource navigation tool. Although that's all important. Our next couple of generations of older adult came up with print media and local social interactions in person as a primary source of information exchange.
Mm-hmm.
They depend on the phone and one-to-one contact with a trusted person.
Mm-hmm.
So understanding that people want to maintain the ability to communicate, but they need to communicate in a way that is understandable and reinforcing.
Mm-hmm.
So when we think about the Chromebook, it's really you can think of it more as an artifact if you were setting the stage for a play. You couldn't have the play unless all the chairs were in the right place and the table was there in the background. For our nursing students to go out and begin to support older adults that are not included, they have to have all the pieces there when they go out. They have to roll in and have this, and then start to have the older adult use this set design that's been created in a comfortable way, and when they leave. So we're really changing that expectation. It's not just an add-on. For some, it will always be an add-on. They will not integrate it into their everyday needs and wants. On the other hand, no one's really asked them before. So we don't know what they might do once they start doing some things and then talking to other of their cohort, their peers, about what they do. But all of this is step by step. It's a very different onboarding idea than if you have a new app and you go onto Cal State Long Beach campus and you say, hey, I got this app. It's like, where's the QR code? And boom, 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 and they're done. No. None of that. There's no, that isn't what their point of reference is. It isn't just how they use it, it's why they're using it. And what are they going to get?
Sure. So I guess, so the implementation process, is that being led by the nursing school then?
It's a combination, I think, of all of us. So this program, so the semester started before we were able to roll this out. So it's kind of like we're catching up in a sense, right?
Okay.
And so the nursing students are picking up the Chromebooks, and then they make appointments. They contact the older adults, and they go out and they, and the Chromebooks have already been set up and prepped by someone on our team, Daniel. So they go out there, they open it up, and and so we've instructed them to just, it's some of the people have never seen a computer before, or this is a foreign thing. So it's not like just open it up and start moving around. So having the conversation and becoming familiar with what is a computer, what does this do? It's going to take some time, so it's not just.
Yeah. Have you, so like what apps are you guys, is your person loading onto these things?
Well, so the VIA 3 is on there, and
Okay.
all the nursing students have been, they have their user IDs, and so they're all able to log on now.
Mhm.
So that's on there. We have, because we're working with Meals on Wheels clients,
Mhm.
and all the clients that have gotten the Chromebooks, they've all expressed interest. So Meals on Wheels, Heart of Ida, so they can connect. And I think the city of Long Beach is on there, and I believe that's in Chrome, of course, Chrome, so they can do just Google searches or internet
Okay.
searches.
And then when you say Meals on Wheels, is that just a link to their website or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and yeah,
Okay.
and I think we so they can get in touch. But I know Meals on Wheels, I believe they have a way that the clients, I think this is down the line though, the more savvy clients can go in and say, oh, I'm sick today, or I'm not going to be home, don't bring my meal.
Okay.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the, so you've got these students, they're, making the appointments, they're taking the Chromebooks out there, giving an orientation. What is their, 3 or 10 bullet points of, okay, here's what we want you to do. Here's what success is, right? That you've taught X, Y, and Z.
Okay. Well, create an email. They need an email, a Gmail, right? So let's get the Gmail, show them how to, so that's number one. Number two is search on the internet, click Chrome and put in anything you want, to search the internet, to have an email address, they can start emailing back and forth. And then, a lot of like this kind of stuff that we're doing, the meetings are all via email, they get the link. So kind of leading toward that.
All right.
But that's like the low hanging fruit. And that's where we've started, because a lot of them just to do that,
sure,
that's where they're starting.
Got it.
And they're also the ones that, and it's also every individual, every older adult is, unique. So some may have specific needs. Maybe they want to, it's entertainment or news, or it's, they do want to do Facebook. They want social media. So it's kind of to go in the direction of the older adult, because if they're interested in doing something, they're going to be more apt to go there.
How about I know a couple of people in the class, I think age group that. So do you load like solitaire or a couple of games on the homepage? I would think that would be a motivator for some.
Yeah, so the students, we have some that have already done that, and we've instructed them. Yeah, if they're interested in playing games, music, any kind of entertainment, absolutely.
Yeah. So how do you deal with the ones that have never seen a computer before, that have absolutely no idea how to type or even henpeck or whatever, right? How are you dealing with those types?
Well, our nursing students are pretty incredible. A lot of what it's conversation and just meeting with them and finding out their needs, and some people, frankly, maybe they'll never use it. But that's very small. That's a very small amount. Most, and we're getting the data back in right now. So
and when do you expect to kind of have that feedback that X percent said take it home with you, don't want it, X percent are emailing daily?
Yeah, it's starting to roll in now. So like I just got an email yesterday that someone said I'm good, I don't want it, you can take it back. Yeah, and that's just one,
Sure. And so you mentioned the low-hanging fruit. Do you have goals for longer term of what the digital inclusion, or what communication level that you're that would be an ideal scenario?
This is great. This is the third cohort of students we worked with. The first two used devices that came through the city through the recovery funds. They were not set up when they went out. We've learned everything. If you want to learn the hard way, just follow in our footsteps. But what we've done with the nursing students, these are already licensed nurses going back to get their bachelor's, and this is their community health course. So they're registered nurses, they're going out, so they have clinical experience, and now they're going out under an accreditation guideline about what being a community health nurse is. So this is a part of that. This is a part of their curriculum to connect people, specifically to meet their health needs, but health being a broad idea, not just telehealth.
Right.
With that, we have tried to have goals, Craig, and then we find out that those goals were just there were ideas, and that we have to stay in line with what the nurses experience and what the feedback of the clients are. Now, all of these 50 asked to participate. In fact, they pleaded to participate. And we're going to find some people who wanted it, but this methodology was insufficient for them to move on. So we're looking at other strategies in person. The city has a tech lab that they've just decked out, and this and that. And when they can start doing tech classes, Heart of Ida is going to be there 1-to-1. And then for those that have the Chromebook, make that connection for them. So again, some continued advice and support. So the nurses collect this data over the course of the semester. So there are data collectors about what happened, how it happened, and how far up the digital technology sequence.
And would they record, say, like if somebody, their grandkids ask them if they can get on Instagram, are they going to record that person, has Instagram on their Chromebook, the basically apps that they add or ask for help adding and that kind of thing?
I think that's one of the, Dina meets regularly with the faculty. And so that kind of, insight or who's using the technology in the
Yeah.
household.
Yeah.
I think that's another side of that. I
Who's
think
helping
one of
them?
the hopes is that we get them onto video, and that's a real big deal.
Mhm.
And we'll see how many people can advance in this semester to have a video conference with their nurse.
Okay. And what about, are you looking at how to get them set up with family members to, to have those same kind of video calls with, say with Via 3 or what have you?
They will. I don't know if we're there yet.
Okay. So with the data that you're collecting, I mean, I'm just curious if part of your thought process at the end, I guess at the end of every semester, as you collect this data, I mean, is kind of the thought process that you're trying to identify, that the real value that's gained or where there's opportunities to gain value. Because I think that, that's the kind of thing that would be really important, for our thinking as we go forward.
Yeah.
I mean, the value piece is central, and I think we see this expanding the universe of the older adult, but also refocusing the universe of people who support older adults, including their family and friends. And we can do this analysis in and around Long Beach, but it really becomes a solid idea if we can repeat this someplace else, in a place that Gretchen and Dina haven't been hanging out on street corners and teaching Tai Chi. I mean, in places where their own unique people come into the conversation,
Right.
And say, yes, we can see how this stepwise progression, we can use these trained facilitators. For us right now, it's nurses, but someplace else it might be case navigators or social workers or a volunteer organization. We don't know.
Right. And in terms of the actual internet connection, is it primarily coming through hotspots or their cable router or some combination? Or
Yeah, it's a combination. We have Heart of Vita. We purchased 25 hotspots, so for half, just in and so some already have Wi-Fi. Some are able, to use at the building they live. The senior building has Wi-Fi or whatever. For those that do not, that live in their homes and can afford it, we have purchased hotspots. So that's how they're getting connected.
And have you looked at? I'd have to go back and look. Verizon may also, but I think T-Mobile. I know they have free hotspot programs for schools and students. Have you looked at some of these hotspot donation programs?
Yeah, Meals on Wheels I guess they're working with them right now to see.
Okay.
Yeah, because they have some kind of partnership already, so they're working on that. Yeah.
Okay. And have you thought about, for people that aren't familiar with typing and aren't really too technically savvy, I've been doing some research and had an idea, and there's no surprise there's some out there, but have you ever considered the idea of a specialty device for these people that might be something that is more button oriented rather than keyboard oriented or something like that? And that brings up all kinds of other technology and cost issues, but what are your thoughts there?
Well, for me, I'm going to jump in here because I dream about that. The less that people have to intersect with the device, the better it is.
Right.
One is that they learned under simpler devices, when they were 10, 15, 20, 30 years old, devices were simpler. And now their ability, yes, they can do it, but it's frustrating. And both more button oriented and also voice activated. We need a much better interface for people, and a way for them. But that's as provocative as that may sound. Once they go down a rabbit hole, how do they fix it? You just don't hit the television set anymore. So
exactly.
There are some ideas there, but we build out our community both in terms of language because that's still, we have 4 primary languages in the city of Long Beach. So we must address that. And other communities have their languages. It also expands those aging with disability that they are coming into it. They may have used technology to relative to their disability, but the effect of that disability may change as they are getting older. So these simpler interfaces are definitely something that we should evaluate. Yeah.
What's the split between, say, English and Spanish in your area or with your population?
Well, from a population point of view, we are minority majority. So it's between 40 and 45% are Latinx individuals. Many are bilingual, but our older adults, although they may speak some English, are primary Spanish users.
And what percent of this target population is illiterate?
Great question. There are adult literacy analyses, and the library has done that, but I don't know, Dina, do you know? I know it's been analyzed through our library. I don't have that.
Okay. Well, I assume everyone that's getting a computer, using this START as an example, has some reasonable level of literacy.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Oh, yeah.
I presume they
Right.
really wouldn't be
Yes.
really interested.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Right.
And then, so it sounds like, and I don't mean to put words, but it sounds like you two are primarily the interface with the nursing school. It doesn't sound like, I guess I'm not clear how much Via 3 and Patty is dealing directly with the nursing school.
Yeah, no. And like I said, this is just kind of still rolling out. I know it seems like, but we're still delivering some Chromebooks.
Understood.
Honestly. So because the students, they have like one day during the week. And so if they're not able to get that senior, they have to wait till the next week. And anyway,
sure. I understand.
Yeah, right. But I think as we move forward, now that we have the nurses all signed up for Via 3 now, and Daniel put together some tutorials on how to use it, I think that's the next step. So,
I see.
So going forward,
I follow. And so between, so longer term at some point, I mean, this is a for-profit business. What thoughts or, plans do you have of where and how, Via 3, could generate revenues, for this type of a program?
Well, we want you to make money so you can continue to support our effort here. So clearly we have motive. How that happens, we need more time, to understand that. But I think the opportunities that are being kicked off through the recovery funds, it's an important time. You can't miss this opportunity because cities and municipalities across the country are getting funds devoted for this, and
recovery, is that related to COVID, or can you explain what a recovery fund is?
Yes. So these are monies that are coming through, dollars that have, we don't know if they're going to pay their bill or not, but nonetheless, there's this idea that we're all getting funded through that. And this is the second round that we've had here, much larger, longer term. And because of Heart of Ida's sort of being ahead of everybody else, they've been on the forefront of this city saying, maybe we should have something, carve out some of those monies for this particular community. So we'll be going in early next year with an idea. Now, will we get it? They have to put it out to a competitive bid. However, many cities will be doing this. They will not have the time the luxury that we're taking here to really analyze what the tool might be and how it might work. And it's not just the device, it's not just the hotspot, but it's this supportive program. So to model that, there are going to be opportunities just because people are going to get funded and they won't know where to go. How that gets promoted, you know, I think that's requires some input. We've asked, and I know Patty has said you'd love to come out. We're trying to figure out what that means, because you're coming out and seeing a couple older adults use VIA 3. That isn't really, we can videotape that, and you know, we could put you on interactive. But having some people in the city who are connected to the national digital inclusion movement would be, you know, timely, and have people from the city managers innovation group, because they know people who, you know,
right,
whatever.
But a lot of this, you know, you had mentioned earlier, you know, by law has to go up to competitive bidding, right? So that is a pretty strong dynamic that, you know, I guess, you know, we need to, certainly I would need to educate myself on, but is that all of these funds to receive recovery funds, that probably all requires competitive bidding, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Any other funds? You know, I know there's a lot of foundations that focus in this area, and or have you looked at you know, any Medicare reimbursement for something in those lines that, you know, particularly if you know, remote monitoring was included, you know, as part of a package or what have you? Are you guys, you know, familiar with, you know, any of those ideas, and, you know, have any thoughts?
Gretchen?
The only thing that I've seen, Medicare doesn't, you know, except very specific and would not relate wholly. You're really looking at health plans that are Medicare Part C. These are the Advantage plans. And that's one. The second is the Medicare Medi-Cal plans. These are public fiscal intermediaries that take both Medicare and Medi-Cal, or what do you guys call it? The rest of the country, we're Medi-Cal here. Medicaid dollars, and then funnel them. There is some movement, but I don't think that's, you're looking for a pin in the haystack there to see what organization might want to take this on, and have that as a benefit for their client. We have heard, we've had a bit of a roadshow here in Long Beach, people trying to come through. It's great technology. Someone should pay for it. Someone should. But
yeah, but there are no direct federal programs.
No, not at this point, but you have to monitor that.
Right.
Through the FCC, there will probably be some more innovation. And frankly, I don't, unless someone's pointing that news feed to me, I'm not really tracking that.
Do you know how many of these people, let's just use this 50 population that you're targeting right now, how many of those people have you know, chronic medical conditions?
I don't know. We have we have the demographics as far as disabled, and I sent that to Patricia, but I'm not sure about, you know, like what
you're going to say a high percentage because they're homebound. They have to qualify for Meals on Wheels.
I see.
So
right. Yeah. So I wonder. And so do you guys tie into, you know, the medical clinicians at all, or you're kind of a whole separate effort, or do you kind of jointly work with their doctors and whatnot in terms of their care or anything like that?
No.
Have you ever thought or looked at that? Because that potentially could tie into more services with this kind of program, that at least some of them could be reimbursed by Medicare.
Yeah. Wow.
No.
Yeah.
It
That's
makes it a lot more
real.
complex. I'm just trying to figure out.
But I think a clarifying point, and this is good, Craig, is Heart of Ida is not a service organization.
Okay.
So we don't do direct services and that people call up, and there's been some of that in the history. There is no funding, foundation or system. Heart of Ida has tried to be reimbursed through systems, and that's a very arduous process. You could look at an organization like SCAN, Independence at Home. SCAN is a Medicare Advantage insurer, but they have a nonprofit called Independence at Home that is funded through different state, maybe federal funding streams, and they do the program that they do. Now, we might think, wow, it'd be awesome if they did it this way, but they don't necessarily reconstruct their delivery because they're getting like 5 different funding streams, and that's not the way it works. However, there may be some introduction to, I'm thinking of her name.
From
The woman. No. That woman, Denise, like her. That heads Independence at Home, but also you have to go high. I work out on the sidewalks. I'm not high.
Well, and we asked SCAN for money for this project, and they declined. They're trying to do their own thing, I think. And we also asked the Knight Foundation, because the Knight Foundation they want to fund the digital divide, but they weren't interested.
And why weren't they interested?
It just didn't align with what they were looking for.
It wasn't sexy enough.
Yeah.
They want to promote something where they get a lot of public relations benefit.
They're like, how many people do you have? 800, 1,000? They're looking for,
big
we're
numbers,
yeah.
big impact, big,
do you guys have the contacts though at those 2 organizations that you could share, and maybe we could look at talk to them about maybe a bigger picture that meets both needs or what have you.
Yeah, I think SCAN, the Knight Foundation, we went through the Long Beach Community Foundation. They're kind of the liaison.
I see. Well, I guess if you could share the contacts, that Long Beach and at SCAN,
Sure.
Really appreciate that. And certainly, we'll keep you in the loop if we can, get a dialogue that, could help, your effort as well.
Yeah,
the other
absolutely.
type of foundation is one that focuses on older adults, and that would be Archstone, which is a national foundation. It happens to be located in Long Beach. It was started in Long Beach because it comes out of an old medical management system, and they converted to becoming a foundation. Now they're national. I think it would be worthwhile for you to talk to them to get how that universe thinks. That would be helpful to you, Craig, and your business concepts.
Okay. All right, great. I really appreciate that. And then so in terms of the data that you're getting back from the current effort, do you think is useful data coming back, weekly, monthly, or every semester, or what? When could we get some of the data from you guys?
Sure, we can, and I can send you the data from the first 2 semesters, the reports they put together. Now it's like I don't think there's enough Patricia, I can send you the spreadsheet of what I just received.
Okay.
So I think by
Yeah,
the end
that
of
would
the
be
semester,
great. We might have some ideas of, some
Okay.
other data that could be really useful,
Okay.
to understand, where there may be opportunities or,
Right.
or what have you.
Sure.
And any other needs that you see out there? I mean,
Yes.
do you see, is part of your service or part of the needs of these same people? Do they have difficulty, or would it be helpful to have, more direct access and introductions to various, specialists, other social groups? I have no idea. Physical therapists, people that come in and do their nails, those kinds of things, to put together kind of a network of service providers or services or what have you.
Maybe. I think that, again, we're waiting for the community to drive their needs, rather than look at it from the traditional aging provider point of view. Because we have a ton of aging service providers, but we don't know what world, part of that world that we are supporting. So I think the semester by semester is the best way to capture and understand. That's one. Two, as we move along, and I need to drop off here in a little bit, because I do a
Sure.
wellness group online for older
Okay.
adults.
That's great.
Is that each of these communities that are built must be facilitated by an organization.
Mhm.
And so Heart of Itis, you're not funded for this. Heart of Itis isn't funded for this. We're all going into this. There is no funds for this.
Mhm.
And we brought Daniel in to help us engineer from our point of view that person technology interaction. That's key, because one of the failures that keeps coming up is that they've never included personal oversight, that personalized and intentional management of this community that gets set up. So it's different in this digital, what we call digital confidence area, is that people still want to be a part of the community, even though they may excel and start writing a book online, they still are a part of this. And so who is this? Who manages all of that?
Mm-hmm. What other needs do they have? So obviously Meals on Wheels is obvious and big, but I mentioned like getting their nails done or what have you. Any other kind of services and needs that you see that they have, this group?
Oh, yeah. People need help in their homes. They need help with housework. They need help with, especially, people who are homebound and disabled. Keeping up, with their house.
They have to complete forms for benefits. They're looking for rental assistance. They're looking for EBT food stamps, whatever you call it. We call it CalFresh. They have to maintain their social service designation. These are onerous tasks where they have to be able to submit a form online, a document. Right. So the interface with what we call service navigators is key for them to participate and maintain their economic viability. Yeah. So again, we're in a low income, no income community. They don't have many services that they can pay out of pocket.
Right. And I assume social services helps them with a lot of that. Is that correct?
Mm-mm.
No.
I mean,
that's why Heart of Itis exists. That's why.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff I do. I just go and help. I'll help them fill out forms. I go to their home, and we don't have any funding for it, but yeah, that's to get assistance with their utility bill, which there are so many programs out there, but if they can't fill it out or do the the online application, kind of, you know.
So social services doesn't help them with a lot of these third-party services. or
There is
whatever.
no social services. It's a
Oh, there's
nice
not?
idea. No,
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
There's
Okay.
no really.
there's no social
place-
service department.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, this has been really helpful. I really appreciate all your time and help. And I apologize. I have something in my eye here, but
Well, I hope we haven't depressed you.
no, I've
You're crying.
I'm pretty persistent. No, I have some thinking to do here, but this is very interesting what you guys are doing. And go ahead, Patty.
I just had one, when you said there's no social services, but if we could figure out a way with VIA 3 to get the forms and to get the government to see that it's beneficial for them, maybe they'll put some money, right?
Oh, Patty. Get the parking spot on this one. No,
Yep.
that is it.
Right.
It is,
And then
it
we
is
can get
governmental. It
Yeah,
is
so
governmental.
Right. Okay, that's
Yeah.
something to think about, Craig. Okay, that's all I had to say.
Okay, I
great.
gotta go. It's been
Sure.
swell.
Hey, thank you
All
so
right.
much for we took so much of your time, but really appreciate it.
No, it's good.
Thank you.
It's great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
all.
you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.